Hello, we're the Honeybadgers, and we'll be speaking about creating a welcoming and inclusive work environment in the Ohio Department of Health.
Hello, my name is Savannah, and I'll be presenting on diversity and how to make an inclusive environment. So from my research, I found that there was a McKinsey study conducted in 2017, and over 1,000 companies, they found that diverse workers are able to connect with other diverse customers. In doing so, they are able to make larger profit compared to companies who do not push diversity. Another thing that I found was that doing this attracts other workers who are looking for diverse environment to work in. Next. So for my findings of the DEI work plan, I found that they were very vague and the details were missing, and it was hard to find because you needed to have a login, you needed to basically search for this. And if you are trying to attract workers who want to be in a diverse environment, this needs to be more prevalent on their website and other places. Due to this, I actually found one thing that I liked about their D&I work plan was employee engagement is critical to the agency's strategic utilization of diversity to further the agency's mission. Engagement is not training, nor is it cultural competency, both of which are retention. It's about understanding and extracting the additional value employees' diversity brings to the agency and directly utilizing to accomplish the agency's mission. Essentially, they're saying that they don't want the employees to have to be trained in this. They want them to be engaged. One way that the Ohio Department of Health can enforce this includes providing situations where people can build relationships, because friendships and relationships in the workplace should not be forced. You should have the opportunity to create these in luncheons, outings, company outings, someplace where work isn't supposed to be the main focus. After all, you're joining a family when you go into a company for 10 plus years. You have to know them, and you should know people from different departments, which will enable you to have a more productive workplace environment. And now, one of the things that I really liked about working at Lowe's as a forklift operator were the daily and weekend check-ins with bosses. In doing so, I established trust and respect towards my bosses. They asked me about how school was going, how my shooting was going, because I'm on the shooting team here at JU. And due to this, it made me feel like I was a valued asset to the company. Because I'm not just an employee to them, I am a part of a family. This enables good feedback. I'm more than willing to speak with them if I have an issue about something, and it's just this trust and respect is there.
Anna went really in depth on really where and how, and now I want to really go more in depth on where that starts. It's kind of confusing she gave a lot of solutions on what things you can do, but now I'm going to go more in depth on how it should come about and where that looks like it starts. And it seems very simplistic, but it's a very hard thing to do. And you can see it a lot with athletic teams or other teams in college, where you really just want to develop a certain culture that is inclusive, but at the same time is demanding. So it's hard, but the main point that I'm trying to make for this is I think it starts with the culture environment. And to develop a good culture is how you can include and be welcoming. You have to develop the culture from the very beginning, and not only having the idea for the culture, but also having a plan. You need to have the plan on how you want the culture to look, what it wants you to look like, how you want it to be. You need to have the plan. And I think ODH is really lacking in a plan on what they exactly look like, what they want their culture to exactly look like. So on the next slide, I really go into where I think it starts. The culture shift has to start with the management, and you have to start from the top. You cannot start from the bottom and ask the lower level employees to make this cultural shift if the upper management is not doing it. So it really starts with ODH's upper management. They need to start pushing for that inclusive and welcoming environment. They cannot be demanding, authoritative, and want to be in charge. They need to be working well with their employees and developing that inclusive and welcoming environment where employees want to show up to work every day. And it starts with the managers. If a manager is holding me accountable in the wrong way, it's going to make me really not want to show up, and it's going to affect my intrinsic motivation. But if a manager is holding me accountable in the right way, I may want to show up to work the next day even more motivated than I was the day before. So managers are the key here, and I think managers are really where it starts, and that's how you can develop a welcoming and inclusive environment.
So my name's Logan, and I'm going to talk about the LGBT community in Ohio, more specifically just the Department of Health. So looking over the data on the screen, you can see they first have to work to get more people of this community to actually Ohio to want to work with them. And they can do this by having different resources for advancing their staff, HR department, and how they approach situations. However, on the next slide, you'll see Ohio in 2021 released this license to discriminate through their governor. The same person who signed their, the same person who signed their DNI, I'm sorry. However, nowhere in the diversity, equity, and inclusion plan does it discuss the LGBT community, as well as being discriminated against in Ohio or even tackling these issues. So I propose that the resources for the Ohio Department to be more inclusive to all communities. In the next slide, there is going to be a couple of different organizations who provide training, webinars, as well as ongoing programs that the Ohio Department of Health could partake in. And although it is very important for every business to have diversity and inclusion onboarding, not many have LGBTQ plus onboard training. So we believe if Ohio Department of Health had these specific trainings, and then even the business resource groups seeing like different hospitals in Ohio, we believe it would be very effective for people to want to work, not only work with them, but feel included in their work environment. So they would be able to reach out to more people saying we do have a Pride business resource group. If they were trying to reach out to different hospitals as well to get their connection, it would just make them more open for people to want to work with them.
Hello, I'm Brennan Valvano, and I'll be speaking about increasing diversity and inclusivity in the Ohio Department of Health. The ODH wants to promote inclusivity and diversity within their organization because it helps employees and patients feel included, and this is a necessity for this type of organization. And as Savannah and Sam spoke about, by doing this, it helps the organization in many different ways, and they work together better. So how are we going to solve this? I believe the ODH should increase their reach by hosting job fairs across the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio is composed of 88 counties, and you can reach many different backgrounds across these counties. This would make current employees feel included while also strengthening the workforce. If you get everyone from the same background, they will not have different ideas. So you need people from different backgrounds, different counties, different upbringings to bring different ideas to the table. This could also make patients feel safer because they know that a worker has been through the same things that they have. Here are some job fair statistics from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. The main number we're looking at here is the average number of attendees from bachelor's and associate's degrees, which is about 1,100. I think if the Ohio Department of Health can host 6 job fairs in the fall and 6 in the spring, it's about 12,000 new potential employees they're reaching out to. This would allow recruits to find great minds that have different ideas that would tie into what Sam and Savannah spoke about, and it would promote the organization and their different ideas. It would also decrease groupthink and increase their love for the organization. It's also comforting for employees to know that their organization is recruiting people who've been through the same things as them. For instance, if there's only one girl or one lady in an organization and 30 men, they might not feel comforting, where the ODH has the opposite. They have 60% women, 40% men. Maybe they would feel more included if they reached out to more people like them. How may this change the workforce? To summarize, the ODH hosting job fairs will help increase 3 things, or improve 3 things. Increase the creativity of the ODH, increase diversity, and increase the satisfaction of patients if they feel comforted. Representation is not only based on external features, but also things where people came from, their economic class, and where they were raised in. Here we have a map of 61 colleges in Ohio, and I believe that ODH can do a very good job of reaching out to many different ones, and they would love to welcome the Ohio Department of Health to help their students as well as the organization. I'll now pass it on to Hugo.
Hello, my name is Hugo, and I'm going to talk about psychological safety at work. And I'm going to share with you 5 ways on how to improve it. First of all, what is psychological safety at work? Is the belief that you won't be punished if you speak up or if you share ideas or concerns with your manager. And why is this very important? Because when people feel safe, they will perform in a better way. The first way to improve psychological safety at work is to make psychological safety at work an explicit priority. So people need to know that they can talk and they can express themselves. Then facilitate everyone speaking up. Establish norms on how failure is handled. So every manager should help the employees and teach them how to learn on their failures and not just punish them. Then create space for new ideas. So everyone has the right to speak and to share ideas and concerns without punishment. And the last point is embrace productivity conflict.
You had some good research for the ODH, some good points about creating a more inclusive work environment. The job fairs idea is a good one. Do you think they should particularly target colleges for that, or have like community job fairs?
I think both.
Okay.
Because you can have if you want to create a diverse and inclusive environment, you need to have both. So you can't just have one. If you have a bunch of young college kids, then you're not going to have any of the older population. You may be discriminating against older individuals. So having a diverse, wide age range would be better.
It also depends on what that position requires. That position might require a master's degree, it might require no degree, so it just depends on what they're looking for.
Yeah, so I think that's good. I think if there are any specific, you had the map of the colleges around Ohio, if there are any specific colleges that you think either because they have a particular diversity of students or because they have, I don't know, a master's degree in public health or an epidemiology degree or something like that, if there are specific ones that you would suggest that they target first, I think those would be good recommendations to include.
Definitely Ohio State would be the #1 recommendation.
Okay. In the final document. All right, guys, thank you.